Today we're going to talk about solving quadratics by graphing. So first thing is we have to make sure that our quadratic is set equal to 0. So if it's not already in standard form, we're going to do that first. So on this one, right, we're just going to subtract 3. So standard form is going to be x squared minus 2x minus 3 is 0. Okay, and now that it's in standard form, what we're going to do is exactly what we've been doing all week. The first thing we're going to find is the axis of symmetry by doing negative b over 2a. So negative 2 over 2 times 1 is 2. So the axis of symmetry is going to be 1. Okay, so I'm going to do my dashed line because that's going to help me keep track of where the center of my parabola is going to be. Now we need to find the vertex. And so we do that by plugging 1, our axis of symmetry, into our quadratic. So if I plug 1 in here, I get y equals 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3. Okay, so 1 squared is 1, minus 2 is negative 1, minus 3 is negative 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is where my vertex is. Now I get to go about the business, right, of going to the left and to the right and plotting points. And what I'm looking for is the point where it crosses the x-axis. So let's put a 0 in here. 0 squared is 0. Minus 2 is negative 2. Minus 3 is negative, 0 minus 0 is 0. Minus 3 is negative 3. Okay, so there's the start of my parabola, but we're not quite up here yet. So I'm going to put in a 3. Okay, what if I plugged 3 into my quadratic? So x squared, oh, there's my dog ringing the bell to go out. Thanks. Okay, so 3 squared is 9, minus 2 times 3 is 6, minus 3. 9 minus 6 is 3, 3 minus 3 is 0. So when I put a 3 in, I got a 0 out. And that's 2 to the right of my axis of symmetry and 2 to the left. Okay, I can stop here because I have my 2 solutions. It's where it crosses the x-axis. Those are my roots or my solutions. So what we're going to write is x equals 3 and x equals negative 1. Those are my 2 solutions. Those are the 2 places where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, so let's look at number 3. First thing I'm going to do is make sure that it's written properly. So negative x squared plus 2x minus 1 is 0. So we're going to go about finding the axis of symmetry. So negative b over, remember, this is like having a negative 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 over negative 2 is positive 1. So all of our axes of symmetry won't be 1, but these two happen to be. So now what we're going to do is we're going to plug 1 in to this quadratic, right? And we're going to see where the what the y coordinate of the axis of symmetry is. So negative 1 squared is 1, plus 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 equals 0. So negative 1 plus 2 is 1, minus 1, right, is 0. So actually, I'm just gonna, so negative 1 plus 2 minus 1 is 0. So when I put in a 1, I got out a 0. Okay, and so let's think about this for just a second. We're going to graph another point. We're going to plug 0 in. So negative 0 squared is 0, plus 0, minus 1. So negative 1, negative 1. So let's think about what's happening. If I wanted to, I could do this. That's negative 9 plus 6. Negative 9 plus 6 is negative 3, minus 1 is negative 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so my parabola is going to look like this. How many places is that going to cross the x-axis? Just this one. Okay, so this is only going to have one solution, and it's going to be x equals 1. Okay, because it's over here, it crossed 2 times, but because the vertex in this one was sitting on the axis, it's only going to have one solution. Okay, let's look at number 2. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find the axis of symmetry by doing negative b. So that's positive 6 over 2 times a. So that's 3. So right here is x is 3. There's my axis of symmetry. So now let's find the vertex. So if x is 3, I'm going to plug that in. 3 squared minus 6 times 3 plus 5. So that's 9 minus 18 is negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. Okay, I know it's going to be opening up. So let's plug in a 2. Okay, if I plug 2 in here, I have 2 squared is 4 minus 12 plus 5. 4 minus 12 is negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3. Okay, what if I plug in a 1? 1 squared is 1 minus 6 is negative 5 plus 5 is 0. So when I plugged in a 1, I got a 0. So this parabola would cross, right, 2 to the left and 2 to the right of the axis of symmetry. So the two solutions, you can open it, buddy, are going to be x equals 1 and x equals 5. And those are my answers. Okay, so let's look at number 4. So first thing we have to do is get it in standard form, which is going to be x squared. I'm going to subtract 4x plus 7. So now what we're going to do is we're going to find the axis of symmetry by doing x equals negative b over 2 times a. 4 over 2 is 2. So axis of symmetry right there. And now let's find the y value. So if I plug a 2 in here, 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times 2 is 8, plus 7. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 7 is positive 3. Okay, so we're going to keep going, but let's think about if you notice it now. The a is positive, right? Ax squared. This is just 1x squared. So this parabola is going to be opening up. Is it ever going to cross the x-axis? It's not. Okay, so like for example, if I put in a 0, 0 minus 0 plus 7 is 7. Right, so this parabola is going like this. It is never going to cross the x-axis, and so my answer is going to be no solution. It is never going to cross. Okay, let's turn our paper over and practice a few more. So on number 5, axis of symmetry, x equals negative b over 2 times a. So that's 3. Oh, I was checking because I felt like we did this one already. So here's my axis of symmetry. Now we're going to plug that in because it's already in standard form to see what would be the y coordinate. So if I put in a 3 here, that's 9 minus 18, right? 6 times 3 is 18. That's negative 9 plus 8 is negative 1. So this is where my vertex is. It's going to open up, right? So I know it's going to cross. So let's put in a 2. 2 squared is 4 minus 6 times 2 is 12 plus 8 equals 4 minus 12 is negative 8 plus 8 is 0. So when I put in a 2, I got a 0. So that's 1 to the left, 1 to the right is 4. I don't have to do anything else on my parabola because I already know the two solutions are sitting on 2 and 4. Okay, number 7. Let's get it in standard form first. Negative x squared plus 6x minus 9. So we're going to find the axis of symmetry. X equals negative b over 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So that gives me an axis of symmetry again of 3. So let's find that y coordinate by putting 3 in here. So 3 squared is 9, and it's negative. Plus 6 times 3 is 18, minus 9. So negative 9 plus 18 minus 9, I got 0. So when I put a 3 in, I got a 0. So what do we know? This is going to open down, right? Let's say I put a 0 in here. 0 plus 6 minus 9 is going to be negative 9. So my parabola is going to look something like this. And so I have one solution, and it's x equals 3.